Did you know that nearly half of working Australians won't have enough money to retire by 2026? That's not a guess. It's what recent financial studies and government data are pointing to. Despite decades of hard work, millions of people could be heading straight into a retirement crisis they never saw coming. And the scariest part, most of them don't even know it yet. We've all been told the same thing: just keep working, contribute to your super, and you'll be fine. But what if that promise was never true? What if the entire system, our superannuation, the pension, even the housing market, is quietly setting us up to fail? Every day, more Australians fall into this trap without realizing how deep it goes. In this video, we're exposing the 10 hidden reasons why retirement is slipping out of reach for millions. Some of them are so surprising, you'll wonder why no one's talking about them. Number 1. The silent saboteur of your retirement. For years, Australians have been told that superannuation will take care of their retirement. But here's the uncomfortable truth: most people will retire with less than half of what they actually need. According to ASFA, the Association of Superannuation Funds of Australia, the recommended balance for a comfortable retirement is around $690,000 for a couple. Yet the average Australian male retires with around $400,000, and for women, it's even lower, just $330,000. That's not a small gap, that's a financial cliff. So why is this happening? The problem isn't just low wages or a lack of savings, it's the false sense of security many people have about their super. Most don't actively manage their funds, check their fees, or even know which investment strategy they're on. Add in long career breaks, casual employment, or part-time work, and super can become dangerously underfunded by the time retirement hits. It's like assuming a leaking bucket will still be full when you need it most. The worst part, this shortfall doesn't show up until it's too late. People don't realize their retirement is under threat until they're already in their 50s or even 60s, when catching up becomes almost impossible. That's why it's critical to start now. Review your super fund, understand your fees, choose a growth-focused strategy if you're still far from retirement, and make extra contributions whenever possible. Even an extra $20 a week starting in your 30s can grow into tens of thousands by the time you retire. Because when it comes to super, the earlier you act, the better your chances of escaping the trap. Number 2. The rising cost of living. Let's be real. Everything is getting more expensive, and it's happening faster than most people can keep up with. From groceries to rent to electricity bills, the cost of everyday living in Australia has skyrocketed over the past decade. But here's the kicker: most retirement plans don't properly account for inflation. That means the money you're setting aside today might not stretch nearly as far as you think in 10, 15, or 20 years. Just imagine this: what $1 could buy you in 2005 now takes $1.60 or more. That may not sound like much, but over a 30-year retirement, it adds up to a massive shortfall. A weekly grocery bill that costs you $200 today could easily reach $400 by the time you're 20 years into retirement. And unless your retirement savings are growing faster than inflation, you're slowly losing buying power every single year. This isn't just a math problem, it's a lifestyle threat. The solution? You need to plan for inflation as a permanent reality, not a temporary inconvenience. Build a retirement budget that factors in at least 2.5% to 3% inflation every year, and more if healthcare or rent are major expenses for you. Choose super funds or investments that offer long-term growth, not just short-term safety. And if you're already retired or close to it, look into indexed pensions or strategies that adjust your income with inflation. Because without proper planning, the rising cost of living could silently erode your golden years until the retirement you imagined is completely out of reach. Number 3. Your biggest asset could be your biggest burden. For generations, owning a home was the ultimate retirement safety net. It meant security, stability, and freedom from rent. But today, that dream is starting to crack. In fact, for many Australians, their home has become a financial trap, locking them into high mortgage debt, maintenance costs, and property taxes well into their retirement years. And the numbers don't lie. The number of people aged 55 and over still paying off a mortgage has tripled since the early 2000s. You might think, well, I'll just sell it and downsize. But it's not that simple. Selling a property comes with costs: stamp duty, legal fees, moving expenses, and emotional stress. And in today's housing market, downsizing doesn't always mean cashing out big. In some areas, a smaller home can cost nearly as much as a larger one. Worse still, many retirees are choosing to stay in homes they can no longer afford to maintain, hoping their property value will save them, while silently draining their savings on repairs and bills. So what's the smart move? You need to look at your home as part of your retirement strategy, not just an emotional investment. Consider options like downsizing early, refinancing while you're still working, or using part of your equity through a reverse mortgage, but only with professional advice. Most importantly, don't assume your home will automatically carry you through retirement. The housing market is unpredictable, and relying on it could leave you house rich but cash poor. In today's economy, your home might not be your retirement plan. It might be the trap that holds it back. Number 4. Longer life expectancy. Australians are living longer than ever before, and while that's something to celebrate, it comes with a hidden cost. The average life expectancy in Australia is now over 83 years, and that number continues to rise. Many people will live well into their 90s, and some will even cross 100. That sounds like a win, until you realize your retirement savings might need to last 30 to 40 years. Most people are only planning for 15-20. Here's the problem. Retirement calculators, financial plans, and even government policy haven't fully caught up to this reality. Many Australians retire in their early 60s, expecting their super and pension to carry them through. But if you live until 90 or beyond, that's 3 full decades without a paycheck. And that means 3 decades of bills, rising costs, medical expenses, and lifestyle needs. If you haven't planned for longevity, you could easily outlive your money. So what can you do? Start by adjusting your mindset. Retirement isn't a short break, it's a whole new chapter. Plan as if you'll live to 95, even if you don't. Look into retirement income strategies that provide long-term sustainability, such as annuities or income-focused investments. Delay retirement if you can, or even consider part-time work in your later years to stretch your savings. And don't forget to factor in aged care needs or rising health expenses, because living longer is a gift, but only if your finances are strong enough to support you for the full journey. Number 5. Poor financial literacy. Here's a harsh truth. What you don't know about money can and will hurt you. In Australia, financial literacy is alarmingly low, especially when it comes to retirement planning. A 2024 ANZ survey revealed that 1 in 3 Australians can't explain basic financial concepts like compound interest or inflation. And if you don't understand how your money works, how can you expect it to grow? Too many people enter retirement without understanding their superannuation fund, their investment options, or even how the age pension is calculated. They rely on default settings, trust the system blindly, or avoid the topic altogether because it feels too overwhelming. But ignoring your finances is like driving blindfolded. You might be moving forward, but you have no idea where you're headed, or if you'll crash. And the consequences of financial ignorance aren't felt today, they're felt years later, when it's often too late to change course. The good news? You don't need a finance degree to take control. There are free resources, podcasts, books, and even online calculators that can help you understand how your money grows, how to minimize fees, and how to maximize your super. Ask questions, seek advice, take action. Even small steps can make a huge difference. Because when it comes to retirement, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. And in a system that's getting more complex by the year, the best investment you can make is understanding how it all works. We put hours into breaking down complex topics so you don't have to. If this video opened your eyes even a little, drop a comment below and tell us which reason shocked you the most. And hey, subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it means the world to us. Number 6. Government pension dependency. A lot of Australians are counting on the age pension to support them in retirement. But the reality is, it was never designed to be your main source of income. It's a safety net, not a full-blown retirement plan. Yet, as more people reach retirement age without enough super, they're relying more heavily on the government to fill the gap. And that's a dangerous gamble. Currently, the full age pension pays just under $30,000 a year for a single person. Barely enough to cover basic living expenses, especially in major cities where rent, food, and medical bills can swallow that up fast. And the rules are strict: income tests, asset tests, and age requirements that are changing all the time. From 2026, the pension access age rises to 67, meaning many people will have to keep working longer before they qualify for help at all. Here's the brutal truth. If you're planning to retire on the age pension alone, you're planning to struggle. You need to think of it as a backup, not a lifeline. The smart move is to build up multiple income streams, super, investments, maybe even part-time income or rental property. Diversify where your retirement money comes from, so you're not fully dependent on a system that's under pressure and constantly shifting. The future of the age pension is uncertain, and the more you rely on it, the more vulnerable your retirement becomes. In today's world, financial independence isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Number 7. The casual workforce shift. Australia's job market has changed, and not necessarily for the better. More people than ever are working in casual, part-time, or gig economy jobs, and while this offers flexibility, it comes at a serious cost: retirement security. Casual jobs often don't come with benefits like paid leave or reliable super contributions, and gig workers, think rideshare drivers, freelancers, food delivery workers, are usually responsible for their own retirement savings. The problem? Most aren't saving anything at all. In fact, nearly 40% of Australians under 35 are in insecure or non-permanent work. That means inconsistent income, gaps in super contributions, and a lack of long-term financial planning. And while it might not feel urgent when you're young and just getting by, those missing years of super can have a devastating impact later. Every year without super is a year without compound growth, and that's something you can't get back. So what's the solution if you're in casual or freelance work? Take control now. Set up your own super fund and make regular contributions, even if it's just $20 or $50 a week. Automate it so you don't have to think about it. And if you're freelancing full-time, speak to a financial advisor about long-term tax-effective strategies. Because here's the truth. Today's workforce isn't built for retirement. If you want to retire comfortably in a system that wasn't designed for you, you have to build your own path. And the earlier you start, the better your chances. Number 8. Poor investment strategy. Many Australians treat their superannuation like a set-and-forget account. Once it's set up, they never touch it again. But here's the problem. Default investment options are often overly conservative, especially for younger workers. That means your money could be sitting in low-return options for decades, barely growing, while inflation quietly eats it away. Playing it safe might feel smart, but when it comes to long-term investing, it can actually be dangerous. Let's put this into perspective. If your super is earning 3% a year, but inflation is running at 2.5%, your real growth is basically nothing. On the other hand, a balanced or growth-focused portfolio earning 7% or more can build hundreds of thousands over time without you needing to lift a finger, other than reviewing it once a year. The difference over 30 years, it could easily be $200,000 or more. That's not a small mistake. It's a life-changing gap. So what should you do? Start by logging into your super account and checking what investment option you're on. If you're under 50 and in good financial health, you may benefit from switching to a growth or high growth fund. Also, review the fees. Some super funds charge high management fees that eat into your returns. And don't be afraid to compare funds and switch providers if yours isn't performing. Because the truth is, your super won't grow on autopilot. You have to be actively involved if you want to make it work for you. In retirement planning, ignorance is expensive, but knowledge can be incredibly profitable. Number 9. Healthcare costs in retirement. Most people imagine retirement as a time to relax and enjoy life, but few are prepared for one of the biggest surprises: the rising cost of healthcare. As we age, medical needs naturally increase. More doctor visits, medications, dental work, surgeries, mobility aids, the list goes on. And while Medicare provides a foundation, it doesn't cover everything. In fact, the average Australian retiree is expected to spend around $140,000 on out-of-pocket medical costs over their lifetime. That's enough to wipe out years of careful saving. Many retirees are caught off guard by what Medicare doesn't include. Things like dental care, physio, hearing aids, private hospital stays, and many types of aged care support. Without private health insurance or a large emergency fund, these costs can quickly eat into superannuation or force people to delay treatments, leading to worse health and even higher bills later on. It's not just a financial issue, it's a quality of life issue. So how do you protect yourself? First, be realistic. Plan for rising medical expenses as part of your retirement strategy. Consider maintaining private health cover well into retirement, even if it seems expensive now. Look into setting up a separate savings buffer specifically for medical emergencies. If you're still working, take advantage of health benefits and preventative care while you're covered. Because when health starts to decline, and it inevitably will, it shouldn't have to drag your finances down with it. Retirement should be about freedom, not fear, and proper planning for healthcare is one of the best ways to keep it that way. Number 10. Policy uncertainty, future reforms. You'd think retirement would be the one stage in life where things are finally predictable. But in Australia, the rules keep changing. From superannuation access ages to pension eligibility, government policies are constantly being tweaked, adjusted, or overhauled entirely. And if you're not paying close attention, these changes could leave you working longer, retiring later, and receiving less support than you expected. For example, the preservation age, the age at which you can access your super, is steadily increasing. By 2026, it will rise to 60, and the age pension eligibility will hit 67. That means many people will face a gap between when they stop working and when they can actually access their money. Worse still, there's no guarantee the rules won't change again in the coming years, especially as the government looks for ways to reduce budget strain from an aging population. So what can you do in the face of all this uncertainty? First, stay informed. Regularly check updates from the ATO, your super fund, and trusted financial news sources. Build flexibility into your retirement plan. Don't rely on just one income stream, and if you can, build a buffer. Have enough savings to support yourself for a year or two in case policy changes delay your access to funds. The harsh reality is, you can't control the government, but you can control your preparedness. Retirement isn't just about saving money, it's about being ready for a moving target. If this video has shown you anything, it's that retirement is no longer something you can afford to leave to chance. The dream of working hard, retiring at 65, and living comfortably is becoming less of a guarantee and more of a challenge. From rising living costs to longer lifespans, from unpredictable policy shifts to growing healthcare expenses, the odds are stacked against those who don't prepare. But here's the good news: you're not powerless. Every one of these 10 reasons we discussed today is a wake-up call, not to scare you, but to empower you. Because the earlier you understand the risks, the sooner you can take control. Whether that means topping up your super, learning more about your investment strategy, or simply asking better questions, action is your best defense against an uncertain future. Retirement shouldn't be about stress, compromise, or survival. It should be about freedom, choice, and enjoying the life you worked so hard to build. But that only happens when you plan for it, not just financially, but strategically. So take what you've learned today, start the conversations that matter, and rethink what retirement really means for you. Because the biggest trap isn't just being unprepared, it's assuming you don't need to be